Of all the things that you've done and all the things that I've been excited to talk about with you, and there's been plenty because of what the Jays have done in the postseason, specifically this last year, watching you absolutely eviscerate the Nationals yesterday when they traded for Adam Eaton and what they gave up may have been some of the most entertaining tweeting I think I've seen all year long.
No, I appreciate that, and I meant what I said yesterday. I was trying to come up with a way to explain to, and I don't mean that when I say layman in a bad way, putting myself in there too, not being a GM in a room making a trade, of what exactly it's like, and it is only like at 4 a.m. at a frat house where everyone is looking around to not go home alone, desperate to not go home alone, and you make that quote-unquote mistake where you're calling a cab the next morning. That is pretty much what the Nationals did because they have their home winter meetings. They lost out on Sale. They lost out on McCutchen. They freaked out, and it's by and large the most universally panned deal I have seen in my 14 winter meetings that I've covered. I had an executive tell me last night, actually I was sitting with two who had combined been to 52 winter meetings between the two of them in their careers, and they called it the worst deal they've seen.
And now explain why, because on the outset you'd think Adam Eaton's a proven fielder. He was one of the best available. He had some term, but explain what the Nationals, and put it in perspective. And there are rebuilds, and then there's what the White Sox are doing, and you give them credit on the other side for the fleecing they've actually put on a couple of teams now, including Boston and that Moncada deal. That's just my opinion, but at least Sale is Chris Sale, and you know what you get. But explain what they gave up to get Adam Eaton and why this is being, as you put it, panned universally in the baseball community.
All right, so basically perception is always more important than reality. People talk about the fact that prospects, we don't know what they are, and that's true. But in today's day and age, the commodity that they are is bigger than they've ever been. It is not like when we were kids. Nowadays, everyone knows everything about the great prospects. People know some guy in Double-A that I'd never heard of, and they sit there and can rattle off his stats to me. The Nationals traded their number 1 and number 3 overall prospect in their organization, which needs to sink in, for a right fielder to play center field. Now, we talk about Adam Eaton, and a lot of people bring up his WAR, and a lot of that is tied into how great he was in right field. He is not, by eye test, by metrics, he is not a great center fielder. He will be playing center field opening day for the Nationals. So they traded their number 1, number 3 overall prospect and another guy who was a number 6 prospect in their organization. Okay, so that's 3 of your top 6. They traded that for a right fielder to play center field, who pretty much offensively does exactly but less than Trey Turner already does. Turner is maybe not going to hit 14 home runs, I'm not sure, but way faster, more stolen bases, a guy who's already your leadoff hitter. And people talk about, well, they would need to move Trey Turner to short, and they did. You could have used Fowler and signed money, not lost any of your prospects, and then used prospects to go get somebody else, number 1. Number 2, you could have gone out and tried to maybe get a smaller type of an outfielder like a Charlie Blackmon, to which you never had to deal these kind of prospects, put him in center field, and then use the prospects elsewhere. Prospects are valuable like dollars, if not more so, in today's currency. You saw what happened with Moncada. And when you take Giolito and you take Lopez, to me, it was honestly, it's as big a disaster as I've ever seen. And I'll just cap off with this. Steven Strasburg, do any of us that are listening right now or speaking, which would be me, do any of us believe that he's going to stay healthy next year? The answer is
no.
Universally none. And that's the same thing that I found on the floor outside the Scouts dinner from all the GMs last night. Now ask yourself, who's going into the rotation when he gets hurt? The 2 guys they had, 1 in Giolito, who would have been in their rotation, 2 in Lopez, who would have been the first guy they called up, are now both gone. So not only did you make this deal, but now you are in deep doo-doo when Strasburg gets injured.
So now you're looking at what the Nationals have done, and obviously it being the issue it is if you were in baseball circles understanding what was given up. But to a player like Bryce Harper, and universally, I believe people he's going to be gone in a couple years anyway. He tweets yesterday, "Wow, And I wondered what that wow meant. And watching other teammates tweet, like Brett Laurie tweets a picture of his face with an unhappy face and not really saying a whole lot. But you got to wonder if that tweet from Bryce Harper was, hey, listen, I know Adam Eaton's a decent player, but did we get any better down the road? Or is that what that was?
No, I think it was, did we get any better now? I mean, I honestly, look, Lucas Giolito is the top, we're talking about the top guy in their organization. So, and we saw him last year. This is a guy who is universally thought of as he would have been a top 3 Rookie of the Year candidate next year. So I absolutely believe that this is a negative tweet. And just to prove the point, within about 10 or 15 minutes later, you got the usual welcome Adam Eaton tweet. I can't really guarantee anything in life except the fact that with my height, I'm not playing for the Knicks anytime soon. But I can pretty much guarantee you that their PR staff got in Harper's ear and made him send that tweet.